everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a really interesting and thought-provoking case that has been making waves in the legal and law enforcement communities. This is the story of Harry Matchitt, a man who was convicted of manslaughter for the death of Brian Hilton, only to have his conviction overturned after a long and complex legal battle. Let me walk you through the details of this case and what it means for the justice system. The case began in 2016 when 77-year-old Brian Hilton was found battered and unconscious in his home in Ōpōtiki. The injuries he sustained were severe, with the official cause of death being an acute chest infection resulting from the violent trauma. The post-mortem revealed injuries consistent with a violent assault, possibly involving heavy punches or stomping, equivalent in force to a car crash. This was a shocking and tragic incident that left the community in shock. This person was ruled out due to a solid alibi. The investigation then shifted to Harry Matchitt, a 49-year-old man with a history of 77 convictions for drink driving, dishonesty, and violence. A partial DNA match from a Steinlager beer bottle found in Hilton's lounge linked to Match, and grainy CCTV footage showed a man of similar stature entering Hilton's home around 8:30 p.m. the night before the incident, 2016, and acknowledged he had drunk with Hilton but could not recall the last time. When confronted with the CCTV footage, he said it probably was him, but remained uncertain. He declined to comment on how Hilton was injured. No charges were laid at that time. Over 2 years later, in December 2018, Matchitt was interviewed again. During the second interview, he appeared emotionally distressed and admitted he likely visited Hilton once a week and drank with him. When asked if he returned to Hilton's home around 8:30 p.m., he said it probably was me and added, "Why would I want to kill an old man?" He later stated in a final interview that he was pissed and probably pushed him over or kicked him, though he claimed he could not remember clearly. He said he hoped he had not done anything and that Hilton was a good person. The DNA match and the CCTV footage to argue he assaulted Hilton while intoxicated. The defense challenged the reliability of Matchitt's statements, pointing out inconsistencies in his alibi and the lack of evidence in the CCTV footage. Matchitt's former son-in-law and partner denied key claims about a domestic argument that night. At trial in July 2021, the jury acquitted Matchitt of murder, but found him guilty of manslaughter. Justice Kit Toogood noted that while Matchitt was intoxicated and may not have appreciated the consequences, a drunken intent to severely assault a vulnerable person was culpable. He was sentenced to 7 years and 9 months, with at least 50% of the sentence to be served before parole eligibility. The Court of Appeal ruled there was a real risk of a miscarriage of justice due to the unreliable nature of Matchitt's statements. The judges found that the police interrogation, particularly in the final interview, used emotionally suggestive and leading questions, such as, "I don't know why you did this, Harry, and you need to talk to me," which increased Matchitt's vulnerability to memory distrust syndrome. A clinical psychologist, Amanda McFadden, found Matchitt scored at the extreme end in a test for suggestibility and exhibited memory distrust syndrome, common in individuals with histories of substance abuse, violence, and head injuries. The conviction for manslaughter was quashed and a new trial was ordered. In February 2025, during a high court hearing, Professor Gisli Gudjonsson, a leading expert on memory trust syndrome, confirmed that Matchitt's vulnerability to leading questions and emotional pressure made his statements highly unreliable. A Crown expert, Gaza Metue, also agreed that the specific statements during the final interview were suggestive and posed a risk of unreliable admissions. As a result, the Crown conceded that Matchitt's final statement would not be admissible as evidence. Without this admission, the prosecution admitted there was insufficient evidence to justify a second trial, and Matchitt was released from prison immediately. He had served 188 days in prison, including time on remand and restrictive bail. Barrister Stephen Lack has submitted a compensation claim to the Justice Minister, Paul Goldsmith, seeking over $600,000 under Justice Ministry guidelines for wrongful imprisonment. The claim is based on the assertion that Matchitt did not commit the crime and was the victim of a miscarriage of justice due to improper police conduct that led to false confessions, stating that the manner of interrogation was entirely proper and that the officer's long-standing relationship with Matchitt was a normal part of rural policing. The officer involved had since left the force. The original suspect, who was later convicted of a burglary at Hilton's home, remains a point of contention. The death of Brian Hilton remains officially unsolved, though the case is under review by the coroner with no confirmation of an inquest. Matchitt expressed anger, saying he felt "get fucked" at being falsely accused. He acknowledged a long history of criminal behavior behavior stemming from childhood abuse and a life of incarceration. He firmly denies any involvement in Hilton's death, stating that Hilton was a good friend and that he would never harm an old man. The case has highlighted serious concerns about interrogation practices, memory distrust in vulnerable individuals, and the potential for wrongful convictions in homicide cases. What does this case mean for us? It's a reminder that even in the face of strong evidence, the reliability of confessions can be questionable, especially when individuals are vulnerable to suggestive interrogation techniques. It also raises important questions about the balance between law enforcement's need to solve crimes and the rights of the accused. The use of leading questions and emotional pressure can have a significant impact on a person's ability to give accurate statements, especially when they have a history of substance abuse, violence, or mental health issues. The methods used may have contributed to an unreliable confession, leading to a wrongful conviction. The fact that the conviction was overturned after years of legal battles highlights the need for ongoing review and scrutiny of evidence in criminal cases, particularly when confessions are a key component of the prosecution's case. This case has sparked a broader conversation about the justice system and the potential for miscarriages of justice. It's not just about individual cases, it's about the systemic issues that can lead to innocent people being wrongfully convicted. The fact that Matchitt's conviction was overturned after a long and complex legal process shows that the system can correct its mistakes, but it also highlights the cost of such errors, both in terms of time and the lives affected, demonstrating the importance of expert testimony in complex legal cases. The case has brought attention to the issue of compensation for wrongful imprisonment. Barrister Stephen Lack's claim for over $600,000 is a direct result of the belief that Matchitt was wrongfully convicted and that the system failed him. This highlights the need for mechanisms to support individuals who have been wrongfully imprisoned and the importance of addressing the consequences of such errors. This case is a powerful example of how the justice system can sometimes go wrong, even when it seems like there is a clear path to a conviction. It serves as a reminder that we must always question the reliability of evidence, especially when it comes from vulnerable individuals, and that the rights of the accused must be protected at all times. The overturning of Matchitt's conviction is a step in the right direction, but it also serves as a warning about the potential for systemic errors in the justice process. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more updates on the latest news and legal cases. See you in the next video.